Hi everyone, I'm making a bonus video today about the kind of crazy stock market we've had over the last couple of days or the last week. I don't really normally make videos on the Saturday, Sunday. I normally just make them Monday to Friday, but with everything that's gone on, I just want to make a few points and try and educate a few people. I think the YouTube community is just great for sharing ideas about investment, the stock market. It's so good, like the amount of people that talk about it and share their opinions. And I just kind of want to put my input into it, and I know a few people do ask me a couple of questions on the stock market for my opinion, and I like to share my opinion with people because hopefully it helps you, and whenever you comment on the video, it helps me as well, just seeing some other people's opinions as well. But there's just a few things that I want to make kind of clear about what had happened, and what I think is going to happen going into next week, and also how my portfolio has changed kind of because of what has happened. So the very interesting thing that happened is that we had the big massive sell-off, and the actual sell-off bounced off the support line on Friday, which was interesting because for it to bounce on Friday is kind of that investors still have a lot of confidence in the market. When something like this happened, when it happened in March, normally, and especially in the when we had the big problems with South Korea, is a lot of people selling positions off on the Friday and thinking I'm not going to hold any positions over the weekend, through Saturday, through Sunday, to Monday in case some bad news comes out on the weekend or the stocks go lower, and people were just not willing to take that risk for holding a position over the weekend into the Monday. But something interesting happened, saw a lot of investors coming in on Friday. I said on this channel that I thought that the stock market will pick up on the Friday, and that's a good time to probably look at them positions and see if you want to add a few in. And yeah, a lot of people buying positions on the Friday, which is interesting what will happen on Monday. As for the support line, for its bounce off it is a good sign. If it closed lower, then it'll be a little bit worrying. And going into Monday, hopefully, it's going to be, I think Monday's going to be a very volatile day in the stock market. And as long as that it doesn't go below the support line, we should be okay. I think the stock market will be going up and down quite a bit. Hopefully it'll finish off green, but I think the worst case scenario is that we have a stock market that recovers a correction very quickly. Whenever the stock market recovers a correction very quickly, always a little bit worrying. And the same thing happened in March. If you were invested into the stock market in March, we had a correction in March, and what happened is we sold off big time. Not as quick as last week, but we did have a big sell-off, and then the stock market recovered pretty much all of it in a week or 2 weeks. And because of that big gain that it had, what happened is we had a second correction. So we kind of want the stock market to go up nice and stable from here, and that would be the best case scenario. The only thing or reason why that would not happen is that because we're coming up to earnings seasons, and if a lot of companies smash earnings, then we could see quite a big jump going up. But if it's a strong earnings, then maybe the market will hold on earnings. Like I say, you can't really predict the markets, but you can kind of try and see where they are going to go, which you can do. Obviously, it's not 100% certain to go that way, but we can kind of see where the market's going to move. And over the last kind of like 2 weeks, it's been very predictable about what's going on, and that's what I kind of see happening on the stock market and going forward, and earnings and what have you. It was important that the banks brought out good earnings on Friday. That definitely helped the market go green. So we've got the banks to thank slightly on Friday, but we'll see what happens. Second point or third point from all of that is very interesting. If you notice, a lot of the big investors, let's take for example Warren Buffett, great investor. Did you see Warren Buffett doing any interviews over the last week? No. The reason why we don't see any of the big investors doing any interviews over the last week, because when we have a stock market like this, they go into the office, they do long hours, and they start picking stocks and they start buying stocks. And probably over like the next kind of couple of months, we'll see that Warren Buffett was picking up more shares, other investors were picking up a lot more shares, and that's why there was hardly any on CNN doing interviews or CNBC doing any interviews, because they were all busy, hard at work, trying to pick out a few bargains in this sale, and that's kind of what happened. Like I say, I think Warren Buffett might be investing, maybe buying a couple of Apple shares again on a discount. We don't know, but if you notice, a lot of big investors, they go quiet at this stage because they're doing a lot of buying. The thing with the stock market, it's very easy to say you're good at investing when the stock market's going up and everyone's making money. A lot of it comes down to when the stock market goes like this, and then you see who the good investors are because they're doing the right thing and doing the changes to the portfolio that need to be done, picking up a few shares that need to be done. And a lot of wealth managers in this kind of positions, what they'll do is they'll ask for like a weekly contribution to your account, and that contribution builds up. And we kind of get a couple of these dips in a year, and with all these contributions that you've been putting into your account, what they'll do now is they'll go in and pick a few stocks with that money you've been putting in. So they'll say like put $20 a week into account, and over like last couple of months you would have built up quite a nice amount, and then gone out to buy a couple of shares on a discount with that. And it's a good strategy to have. If you don't do that, is just put a little bit of money aside every week for these chances when you get the stock market at such a good value like this. And last of all, what have I been doing last week? So I have made a few changes to my portfolio. There is a new stock in my portfolio, which I'm very happy about that I bought this stock, because I go on about this channel for absolutely ages. One of my favourite stocks, that's a little bit of a clue, that I've not been invested in for a while. So if you watch my channel, you might be able to guess which one it is. But there's been a couple of stocks sold as well to make the buying opportunity for this company. But I'm not going to talk about that just yet, because there might be just one slight change done towards my portfolio next week. So I'm not going to talk about which stocks I bought and which stocks I sold until the end of the week, and then I'll reveal what I did over the last week. If you're desperate to know, then message me. I'll probably email you it, to be fair. I just kind of like don't want to reveal too much, because I'm kind of just doing a few decision makings on a few stocks right now. So guys, that's the video for today, talking about the stock market from last week. I'm sure I'll be talking about it a little bit more next week, with what will happen. And obviously I did a video about earning seasons and the dates of big earnings coming out in the next 2 weeks. Will be very interesting. So guys, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.